Thanks so much for doing this. This is exciting. What time is it where you guys are?
Well, I'm in Manchester, England, and it is 6 p.m. in the evening.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You're like way ahead of us.
Yeah. I'm in
Yes,
California. It's 10 a.m. where I am.
Well, this is so nice. Everyone's in different time zones, so that's for sure. 1 o'clock here, and it's miserable. It's totally like rainy and cold and not so sunny, but that's okay.
that sounds a lot like England right now.
What about California?
It's very sunny, but it's still very cold. So
What's cold for you though?
it's like 40 right now.
Okay, that's pretty cold.
So for me, that's pretty cold.
Yeah, it is pretty cold, I would say. Welcome back, everyone, to Connect Through Beauty. I am so excited about this podcast today. You guys are going to love it. I got to sit down with Paul and Cole Thompson. They are just amazing individuals. Oh my gosh, they are just incredible. They're brothers. They are from England, and Cole actually lives in California, and Paul is still living in England, Manchester. And, you know, it was kind of cool to get them together and just talk about their passion. They both are very passionate about the education in our industry, just as much as we all are, right? And, you know, they have seen and they have heard, they've been in the industry for a while, this missing piece of, you know, what do we do when we're done school? And I think that's the question for a lot of people, right? So like, where do I go when I'm finished school? So if you have, and you are lucky to have a company that supports your continued education, then, I mean, you are already on the right track. And, but you know, that's not the case for everyone. Yes, most salons do definitely provide continuing education. But, you know, when you're first getting out of school, you know, where's that missing piece? Where's the chunk of time where you start to really come into your own and get this confidence about you, right? So like, you know, when you do have someone that comes and they see you and, you know, maybe you're just a little unsure about how to start, how to begin, you have these tools in your arsenal to use. And so what Paul and Cole have done was they have really taken this missing link and created an amazing, and I mean, guys, you're going to be just blown away when you hear all of the innovative things that they have done with their continued education program. So they have taken this missing piece and really just elevated it. So really what you can do if you're a salon owner or you're an individual stylist that is looking to continue their education, either you are right out of school or let's say it's 20 years in and I need to like really spruce up my education and I really need to kind of like learn different trends and different techniques. You actually can sign up for their platform and they customize it just for your needs, which is phenomenal. I mean, think about that, right? So like, it's kind of like, you know, when you like go and purchase like a subscription to something, you have to just deal with everything. And maybe you only wanted to watch the one show that you signed up for. Not in this case. So they customize this just for you, just for your needs. And then better yet, you actually have continuing access to this education. So again, like you are, 15 years from now, you have that continuing education access and you still have that ability to kind of go back and refresh and regroup, and you'll always have their updates and whatnot. So I'm going to let them finish and tell you the story, but my goodness, this was so fun. And, it's great to hear that they can come together. They have this amazing passion and just what love they have for our industry. And so I know that you guys will enjoy it. So listen in, keep staying connected.
In about 20 years now, I suppose just over 20 years, So in England, it works a little bit different from the US. You graduate high school at 16, and then you kind of faced with the decision to go on to further education, which would be college or university, or kind of go into the workforce. And the workforce could be just like a regular type job, or it could be a skilled job where they're going to do like an apprenticeship and teach you whatever that skill is. So that could be, you know, like being a plumber or welder, electrician, carpenter, and we chose hairdressing. So that's kind of how we got into it very, very young, and straight away just pretty much fell in love with it, even though it wasn't necessarily something that we ideally wanted to do.
So you both decided to do the same thing and start to go into hairdressing, but was there someone that influenced you to make that decision, or was there something that drew you to the industry?
I think definitely my mum, because it was more because she just didn't want us to be degenerates, is probably the easiest way to say it. Right? So we didn't necessarily have a path or passion apart from playing soccer. We just wanted to play soccer every day, but we didn't really have a future or a goal or anything in mind. So for her, she was just worried about us going down the wrong path. So she just wanted us to get into a job, and it could have been any job. She would have been happy for that, because we weren't necessarily the best at school. So I got into hairdressing first, and then a couple of months later, after Paul saw how much I was loving it, Paul came on board as well, and it just kind of went from there.
That's so cool. So you went into apprenticeship, which I love that concept. I mean, I think that there's no other way to learn this craft than to really get into it, get your hands into it, and see it in the environment that you'll be working in. So was there a salon or a type of place that you thought, you know, this is definitely going to be where I'm going to start my journey?
Yeah, definitely. We ended up working together, which was great and quite confusing for clients, because if anyone's watching, we're twins, and when we were younger, we definitely were even closer in looks. The California sunshine's been a little bit harsh on my skin. I think that's what it is. But yeah, and Paul can definitely talk more about the apprenticeship program as well, because he owns salons in the UK, and he utilizes that every single day. But the success of it is based upon the place that you choose to work, because you do go to school once a week, and that kind of covers what would be equivalent of like state board requirements basically in the US, so like safety and things like that. And then the rest of the time is in the salon. So if you choose to work in a salon that is education focused, or maybe has some structures in place, you're going to be more successful. If you go to work in a salon where it's more secondary, or it's a kind of an afterthought, then your success is going to be a little bit more limited. So I know that Paul can touch on that. He's had salons for a long time and kind of graduated hundreds of people through his salons.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Carl. I think it's true, really. I've seen it both sides of it. I've had my own salon for 11 years now. And when we first started, I was very keen on just being as busy as I possibly could behind the chair to make a success of the business, and training the younger ones maybe took secondary. So I was losing people either through lack of interest, or maybe, feeling like they were never going to get there. And then since kind of really taking control of like the in-house education, it completely flips. The younger ones are really interested. They get that hunger and the passion for the industry. So, to see both sides of it, once you really start to focus on the in-house and education in the salon, it grows big time, and it can help your business grow. You get a loyal team, and that's what we're at now. So that's why we're so passionate about education, because it works.
That's awesome. How many salons are you running right now?
At the moment, just the one. We did have two. We had two, and then we've consolidated it into one above 3 floors, and it's great. We're like a tight knit team. We work very close together. I think our newest starter is 5 years in now, so we don't really have a revolving door. We stayed a long time. It's good. We love it. We're all very passionate about the industry. They allow me to be able to travel with my work, as well as kind of dip into the salon in and out. So, yeah, I love it. I love being a salon owner. I love being behind the chair. It's good. It's brilliant.
That's awesome. What does a day look like for you? Like when you're training the apprentices?
Well, we do the Elevation H program. So normally, we're very specific on what we'd learn each week. So they got to, you know, do the questionnaire. They've got to pass that. They've got to watch the video, and then they know, you know, guaranteed our training days Tuesdays. So they know Tuesday what I'm expecting of them, and what's, you know, what's expected of myself. So I can deliver the class, and they can obviously deliver the haircut or the color. So it's, you know, it runs so simultaneously. So you can grow really quick, you can learn really quick. And I know Cole's obviously very passionate about it because we created it. If you want to add any more onto that, Cole,
yeah, definitely dive into that.
Yeah, definitely, because I know when we kind of first started this, and I'm sure we'll get more into like the origin of it, of how it came about, originally, like creating the company. But I was very lucky to have a job that I would travel into different countries and work with salon owners and school owners. And the number one problem that kept coming up was either loyalty, meaning like keeping team for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. Which if they're struggling with that, then that usually shows either lack of support or a journey from like start, middle and end of their career, like what's next. So that's whether a training program's lasting too long or there's not a next step for them to grow, whether it's financially or ability wise. And then the other one was time, and then even knowing how to like structure a training program, because usually the busiest person in every salon is the owner, usually. Right. Usually you go to start a business because it's like, I'm so successful here, I'm fully booked every day, I'm just going to do this on my own, which is amazing. And I love that there's the ability for people to do that and start their own businesses. But then when you start to bring on other people into that success, it takes time away from what's made you success originally. So that's kind of why we created the program, because, for example, like Paul's saying, if he's going to be doing a training day next Tuesday, the whole program's mapped out, and whether the salon owner wants it to be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 18 months, it doesn't matter. We create it based upon the salon's needs, so that the apprentice knows exactly what's happening next Tuesday. They know that they need a model, they know what videos they need to watch, they know what quizzes they're going to be able to take, so they're fully prepared. And then on the other side of that, the owner or whoever's the lead educator knows exactly what's expected. So there's no asking constantly, do I need a model next week? What are we doing next week? Oh, I didn't know I needed a model. So
yeah, I've heard that quite a few times. So how is it set up? Does it it's all digital? So is it like, are they able to have an app on their phone, or like how does it work for the student?
Yeah, so it's completely digital. We originally launched about almost 9 years ago. When we originally launched, we launched with like online videos and then an actual printed book. And the book had all of the information plus like quizzes and questionnaires in there. And then over time, especially as COVID hit, we kind of pivoted. We still have the printed book option, but everybody goes digital. So it's like an online university. So how it works is, once the salon owner decides how long they want the program to be based upon their needs, we basically ask, how quickly would you like this student or apprentice to become profitable? And whatever the answer of that is, 2, 3, 6, 9 months, whatever, we design it based upon that. And then the curriculum that we send walks them through week by week, month by month, and tells them how long they're going to spend on each area. It lets them know if there's homework. And then the curriculum tells them to log in, and they just go through the university online. And like I said, there's questionnaires, there's quizzes, there's areas that you can print out head sheets and draw them. There's multiple.
Oh, that's so cool.
There's videos, and they can just log in and out on any device, and it just remembers where they're left off each time. And it also comes with a fully supportive teacher training version of it. So if there's going to be a lead educator in the salon, we can teach them how to become an educator and how to teach our methods, but just to how to become an educator in general. So whether they want to be a platform artist or anything, it comes with that as well, which is really cool. And in terms of an app, we just recommend them just to bookmark it, and it saves it on the phone straight, go in and out quite easily.
Perfect. Oh, that's awesome. How convenient is that? It's a genius. So how did you guys come up with making this and creating it? How did it all start?
So I suppose to go way back, once Paul and I knew that this is what we wanted to do for a living, we went in slightly different directions. I got a job with a company called Vidal Sassoon a long time ago, and that was kind of like in the closest city to us, which was Manchester. And as soon as I started working there, I saw that they had a huge emphasis on education and support. And that's when I really started to understand like technique and the hows and whys and you know, like the decision making of what we do every single day. And once I went to work for that company, Paul worked for a company, and his mentor was very business focused. So that's when Paul started to open up businesses and run salons. And I kind of went in the education area. So we kind of went full circle. And then once I moved to the US in 2012, I was running a program called School Connection for Sassoons, which worked with cosmetology schools. And we would go in and give them materials to help them teach and to deliver content for students. And every salon or every school that I worked with, the owners would ask for more support or a bit more in depth or more teacher training. And we just didn't have that in that specific program. So I called Paul and said, are you suffering with these problems? Like, are you super busy? You don't have time to train your team, like loyalty with your team members, all these things. He's like, you've just described my business. I'm like, let's.
Yeah.
And then that's when we designed it. And again, it's kind of evolved over the years, but we feel now that we've kind of really dialed it in, that it's very, very, very user friendly. It also comes with a lot of support from our team, myself and Paul and our team, that we can help to recreate people's logos for them. We can help them with the website. We can help them with advertisement. We can do as much Zoom and support calls as they need. So if a salon's struggling with product sales, we can actually do an hour class with them, with a member of our team that can walk them through that. So it's all inclusive. The program's all inclusive, that if we just give it to them and leave them alone, they're going to be fine. But we like to be as hands-on as they need, which is pretty cool.
I love that. That's so cool. That's awesome. So when did you guys actually get started with the company? What year was that?
We launched end of 2014, 2015, we kind of fully launched, which was great. And then where it kind of took off almost instantly was in the UK, Canada and Australia, because they are really apprenticeship focused. And then in the US, it kind of worked really well in the schools, like working with cosmetology schools. And then over time, it seems that the apprenticeship model is definitely growing inside the US, which
Definitely.
a lot like pushing it. But we still work with a lot of schools. We're associated with like the PBA and Beacon and the AACS. So the school area is still a huge area of our business and a massive focus. But we want to help once you've graduated as well. And another area of our business that I know this was Paul's idea, and it was just fantastic, that some schools give our program as almost like a graduation gift. So once they're graduated, because normally it's like, good luck, I hope you stick around. So they give us, and they kind of join our program. They send them to us on graduation, and we kind of bridge that gap between passing the state board, finding work, building a clientele that they can almost use us as like a mentor or like a angel on the shoulder to kind of ask questions if anything does go wrong. And the beautiful thing about that is schools obviously want students to be in the industry long term. So if there's a crutch or a support like that, it's very, very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. And that's another thing that I've been focusing on too, is like when there's so many people that are interested in getting into our industry, and they're in and they're like so excited, and they graduate and they quickly like get burnt out and they leave. And a lot of that has to do with what you're saying, is education, being confident, and also learning the skill set to communicate and handle all the clients that you have coming in to see you.
Definitely. And I think a big focus of ours is because naturally when you go to work in a salon, you have to become busy, find clients, keep clients, grow a business, make money. We have to do that.
Yeah.
But if our technical skills and our client communication isn't very good, it's going to make that part extremely hard. Right? So that's mainly our focus. We specifically focus on salon readiness, decision making, speed, and that comes from cutting, coloring, again, decision making. Consultation is a huge part of what we teach, just to make sure when that client comes in, we're going to be able to keep them in the chair then to naturally grow the business.
You guys have it. I love it.
One of my favorite things more than anything, which I think is quite unique as well, is it's a lifetime access. If they sign up to our program, once they qualify, once they go into the big bad world, they can carry that on throughout their career. So if there's a haircut they're a little bit nervous about, or somebody walks in like a pixie cut, for example, that can sometimes be a little bit nerve-wracking for a new starter, they can, zip in, watch the video that we've taught them, and they're a little bit more confident. So it travels with them wherever they go. If they change state by state or job by job, we go with them. We support them throughout their career and we help them grow. And we just added a subscription basis learning as well. So if, for example, you've learned the basics and then you want to learn new techniques or current cuts like the modern shag or the wolf or any of those techniques, we also dip into that as well monthly, so they can learn the latest techniques as well as have a really good kind of culture and basics from the beginning as well.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. That's so cool. So what do you guys have coming up next? I know that every year, I'm sure you guys keep adding new things. It sounds like every year you guys are adding and elevating yourselves. So what else is next?
Hopefully to get to hang out a little bit more than we have been doing. We usually only times a year. So the focus for us is we've always mainly worked with like the business owners. So whether it's like the school or the leadership team or then the leadership team in the salons, and we'll put a very organized, systematic program inside the business. And as Paul's just mentioned, we've just launched to go alongside of that subscription-based learning. And that's kind of focused on maybe the individual learner if they're in a suite situation or they work in a salon that might not be education focused, and maybe they've been in the industry for a long time and they just need a little bit of inspiration, right? Something like that. So we just launched that, and we're going to launch with some core videos, like 5 core videos, and then add on each month. And we'll get guest artists and again focus on new trends. So that's going to be a big thing for us this year. We're redoing our website, which is quite exciting. And then a huge area for us as well is the schools. Like I said, we're all like the AACS events and work with the PBA. So we kind of want to get people from ground up as much as possible and ideally keep people in the industry. We love this industry and we want to make sure that it's going to keep on growing. And Paul was saying that in the UK that people signing up to become hairstylists is dramatically down, that's quite damaging for the future. So we're hoping with support, and we want to fight the good fight, and that's where I think we've connected so well, Ashley, as well. That's your passion as well, to make sure that industry that we love. Great.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Why do you feel like it has gone down?
I would, from reports from like the local schools over in the UK, was a lot of salon suites, self-employed. So a lot of them are obviously just kind of, high tickets, earning as, good money as they possibly can. But there's a lot more on the individual as they're earning. So they have a clientele and they just want to keep that. They don't necessarily want to grow a team or bring the youth on to keep growing. So that demand for apprenticeships has definitely got a little bit lower, which breaks my heart because, it's kind of catapulted our careers. That's where it all started for us. And many more throughout the industry. The apprenticeship scheme has been such a great start. So we want to fight the good fight. We want to make give it a good comeback, especially over in the UK. We want to support it and help it grow and get back to what it was really.
Yeah.
And I think to that a little bit, actually, like for example, I think as Paul's mentioned it, and I love entrepreneurship and growing your own businesses and being an individual. I mean that's what this amazing country America is built on, isn't it? Like opportunity, it really is. But I think opportunity with support, I think if you are graduating school directly and going into opening up your own business or a suite situation, if you have the clients and you have the needs and requests, fine. But not everybody does, and the bills keep coming, right? So I think in a perfect world is maybe like if you get your license, and then in order to become like a sole proprietor or something, you have to have like 2 years experience behind it or something like that, where then that could maybe encourage this, like, I suppose, add-on learning from school to prepare them, because that's I think what is happening is if you go directly into the suite situation, some are going to make it, some aren't. That's where I feel it could be down a little bit, because there might not be options for people graduating to go and get into a job where they're going to feel supported.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do think that that's scary when you go right into a situation like that right out of school. You haven't really experienced all of the ups and downs and all of those moments that make you grow as a stylist. And I think that that's huge. And that's where I do love the apprenticeship programs and things like that. I just feel like there's such a missed opportunity there. So I love that you guys have really dove into bridging that gap.
Thank you.
You know, I would definitely recommend anybody getting into a salon working, you know, environment, because you know, you might have 5 or 6 or 7 experienced stylists that you're shadowing, so you can really take little bits from each one of them and learn and grow and become the artist that you want to be. I think it's so high pressure now to be successful, to make money, to kind of, like you say, be an entrepreneur or have your own business, you know, but that comes with experience, not only in work, but also in life. So I think if you can learn from people who's done it before, or get mentors, then I think it's obviously going to pave the way a lot more in a successful environment, really, with that. If you're working in a salon and they take you under their wing, you know, you can maybe, you know, learn a bit from a hair extension specialist, someone from a color specialist, from a short hair cutting specialist, and then you're not going in the dark, really. You're going to learn from the best, and then obviously that hopefully can lead on to a great career.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've learned so much over the years. And actually, I'll tell you a funny story. When I first started, I had such a bad attitude. I think I was 18. I just turned 18 and had a boyfriend. And I was just like, you know, I don't really need to be here. I don't need to take education classes. I graduated school already. Who do you think you are? I mean, that was the attitude I totally had. And you really quickly learn that that's not the way that you should be if you want to be successful. So
yeah, agreed.
Actually, that boyfriend is now my husband. But if it wasn't for him, he was like, I don't think you should have that type of attitude. You need to walk back into work and get your act together. And I was like, oh, okay. Fine. And so anyway, the point is, you know, having like that chip on your shoulder, or the ego, and I've done it, and I'm going to be that rock star hairstylist that I think I am in my head. Once you get your hands on a real client, you quickly become a little bit more humble and realize that you have a lot to work on. You have a lot of life to live in the industry, meaning like I have to learn how to talk to clients. Not in a one particular way, but I have to get to know people. And I might talk to you in one way and someone else in a different way, because everybody's different and you communicate in all different ways. And I love like that experience, because if I didn't go through that experience, that wouldn't, you know, make me who I am today. And I think that I really want young professionals to understand that that's so valuable.
It really is. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about hairstylists. You could drop a hairstylist in probably any room, in any situation, and they're going to find a way to communicate with people, because we're good dealing with people, right? And one of my really good friends, his name's Andrew, he runs the education department at Torii Hanzo, and he always talks a lot about being chameleonic, meaning like chameleon, and adapt and adjust, because you're going to meet people with different beliefs, different backgrounds, from different religions, different countries. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this industry, is it teaches you to be okay in any situation. So even if you don't be a hairstylist anymore, whatever comes next is probably going to be pretty easy for you, right? And I just think that's so wonderful. And I suppose to jump back a slight little bit, that if anyone out there listening, obviously we're going to talk about our program. It's incredible. It's amazing. Our subscription is incredible. But I think that more than ever, we do have access to great education, and to find a mentor, and to find options. And even just some of our friends, you know, like the guys over at Hanzo do about 500 haircutting classes a month nationwide. So even if you're in a situation where you don't have support, there's options there, and that's complimentary nationwide. You can go to as many as you like, which is great. And then our friends over at Fan House in Scottsdale, they do like mentorships and shadowing and things. So there's some amazing, incredible mentors out there. It's just kind of looking for it. So if you're in this situation where you need help, hop online. You can reach out to us. We'll be able to point you in the right direction to make sure that you kind of find the right way, for sure. Because it's the best industry in the world.
Oh my gosh, it is the best industry in the world. I totally believe that. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to link all of your stuff into the podcast so everyone can go and check it out. I think that it's so valuable to have access to things like that. I mean, it's great. And it's great to be in this time period right now where things are so accessible.
Yeah, definitely. And if there is any salon owners out there and kind of the wanting to, I suppose, like bring on newer talent, or they're struggling with newer talent, or it's the direction you want to go in, definitely reach out. We're here to support you guys. We work with hundreds of salons globally to help them integrate a training program, to create one. The beautiful thing about our program as well is if you guys have, for example, systems in place, you can kind of add it into what we do and create an all personalized one, which is pretty cool. So we're here to help, and we just love what we do. And actually, thank you so much for you taking the time and interest in us. We really appreciate it.